Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Merkaz Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, safety, much love, and blessing to the Akim across the four corners of the earth that are pushing out this truth and sincerity and putting their life on the line to do so. To you brothers, I want to say Shalom. Back with another lesson through the Spirit, Lord willing. This lesson be edifying to an elect member or two. Now, the basis of this lesson is basically going to be, man, along the lines of being spiritual versus being carnal. You know, because we live in a society where carnality is pushed on a grand scale, and when it comes to spirituality, being spiritual gets the short end of the stick, so to speak. You know, growing up, you know, your parents, mostly everything that they teach you, mostly everything that they do teach you is carnally, and those carnal things that you're taught, you know, as a babe growing up, turns into sin and basically manifest into very demonic or demon-like actions. You know, we like to use the term of having demons on you, okay? Because being carnal, that's all that's going to manifest. You know, growing up, they teach you to if somebody hits you, hit them back. You know, they teach our women, you know, not to settle down at a young age. You know, have fun, do whatever, you know, in your youth, you know, so that way when you get older, you won't feel like you missed out on anything. You know, what they tell you: get an education, go to college, get a big house, white picket fence, you know, get a dog or two, you know, whatever the case may be. But they never tell you, hey, follow the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord left down here for you to the best of your ability. You know, they don't tell you to treat your neighbors with a certain level of respect. They don't tell you to keep the high holy days. You know, these type of things aren't instilled in us, you know, as kids. So you grow up, basically 90% of what's in your subconscious is carnality, okay? But when you come into the truth and you gain the knowledge of the scriptures, you begin to strip off that old man and become more spiritual, in a sense, than carnal. So, this is Romans chapter 8 and verse 1. It says, there is therefore now no commentation to them which are in the Mashiach, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. Okay? And that word is condemnation, Salakia. And the word condemnation goes into being condemned, I believe. Damnatory sin is condemnation. Okay. So rereading it, it says, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in a Mashiach, that are in a Mashiach Yahweh Shai, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. Okay. This is Galatians 5 and verse 16. It's like it says, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. Okay. And the scriptures also tell you that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Because these fleshly bodies are made to go off. That's why they're referred to in the scriptures as chains of darkness. Okay, because no matter how spiritual you want to be, there's always going to be that fleshly part of you tugging at you, and you got to learn to put a cap on it. Okay, because if you follow every carnal thought that you have, or every carnal feeling, then you're more than likely going off, a big chunk of your walk. Okay, but if you're keeping things spiritual, and denying yourself, these lustful carnal things, then you're in the right spirit, according to, the scriptures. Galatians 5:16 again. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. So if you stand in the spirit, you're more than likely not fulfill, the lusts of the flesh. Continuing on, verse 17, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary, the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. Okay, so you trying to keep it spiritual, but you in a carnal flesh that's just like oil and water. It don't mix. They're gonna be constantly warring after each other. The battle of good and evil, wanting to do the right thing, against actually doing the right thing, is a constant battle. Because the spirit and the flesh are contrary to each other. All right. So if, let's say you have in your mind that, okay, I want to read 2-3 chapters a week, out of let's say the book of Matthews, so you can keep it spiritual throughout the week. But then, some come up carnally or fleshly, or anything, that your eyes lust after comes up and deters you from getting those spiritual things done that you had set for yourself. That's a perfect example of the spirit versus the flesh. Okay, and you can't let the flesh win those battles majority of the time, man. Okay, you gotta, like you say, you gotta put a cap on it. You gotta learn to restrain or refrain from certain things. Okay, and everything, like the scripture tell you, that is lawful is not expedient, meaning that you're not benefiting from it just because the law is not against the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It can still affect you in a way as to where you're not walking in the spirit. Verse 18. But if ye be led by the spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these. All right, so the works of the flesh are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, and heresies. Okay, those are all things that are of the flesh, man. Okay, adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revilings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of heaven. So those that are of the flesh and commit these acts of sin, are not fit for the kingdom of heaven. Whoremongers, those that lay with mankind, as they would womankind, those type of people are not fit for the kingdom of heaven. All right. Thus saith the Bible, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, godliness, faith. And these are the things that you should be exemplifying right here, man. You know, love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, which is very important, you know, being humble, because pride goes before destruction. The scriptures also tell you that the meek shall inherit the earth. So the opposite will not. Okay. So these are the type of fruits of the spirit, or things that you should be focusing on more so than those carnal things that were mentioned in the verses above this one. Okay. Continuing on, it says, and they that are of Yamashiach have crucified the flesh, which the affections with, so like I'm gonna reread that. This is Galatians 5:24. And they that are Yamashiach have crucified the flesh, all right, with the affections and lusts. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. Verse 26, let us not be disarray or vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Okay? So, you know, these are the type of spiritual fruits you should be focusing on, man. And like I said earlier in the lesson, you know, it's a struggle, but that struggle has to be combated with faith, prayer, fasting, reading. You know, don't think it's just something you can overcome on your own and be self-willed, because things of the flesh have destroyed great men, man, throughout all of history, man. Some of our great kings have been subject to the flesh or the carnality, and it has led to their demise, man, or their fall. Okay. Back in Romans, the 8th chapter, the 5th verse, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So to be fleshly minded, to be in a state of lust and murderous and, you know, idolatry and all of that, those are the ways of death. Okay, keeping it spiritual, you know. And that's another thing, if I should mention, the act that took place a few weeks ago with the guy in the deli up in Jersey. That was a prime example of carnality, which led to what? Death. Okay, that guy was taken out, you know. Though that's not something we condone. We condone spirituality. You know, it said love, peace, mercifulness. You know, those are the type of things that we teach here at Great Millstone. Okay, not carnality, because what it led to? Death, like it says here in Romans the 8th chapter. All right, rereading it, Romans 8:6. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal minded is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. Okay. One more precept back in the book of Galatians, you know, Lord willing, the lesson, you know, was edifying. I'm going to close out on this. Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reapeth. So if you sow in spiritual things, you're going to reap spirituality. If you're sowing carnal seeds, you're going to reap carnality. You know, it's just the basis of it, you know. Speaking, you know, on a lower scale, you know, if you planting orange seeds in the ground, you're going to get oranges every single time. You're not going to plant orange seeds and then wake up and bananas have grown. Okay, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. So carnality reaps carnality. Spirituality, you know, reaps spirituality. You know, Verse 8, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Okay, so Lord willing, the lesson was edifying, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone. Shalom.